sports card collector? Then make your next stop Stan's Sports Cards in Greenbrier. Whether you're chasing vintage legends or today's hottest rookies, Stan's Sports Cards has something for every sports fan. Browse an incredible selection of sports cards, jerseys, memorabilia, and collectibles from your favorite teams and players. Looking to sell? Stan's Sports Cards is actively buying vintage and modern sports cards. Turn those cards sitting in a box into cash today. Visit Stan's Sports Cards at 26 South Broadview, Highway 65, in Greenbrier, open Tuesdays through Fridays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Discover Little Red at Indian Hills, where good food, great views, and Arkansas hospitality come together in Fairfield Bay. Enjoy lunch or dinner with comfortable indoor seating, a relaxing outdoor patio, and barbecue available Thursday through Saturday. From golfers fresh off the course to locals and visitors alike, Little Red is the place to gather, eat well, and unwind. Little Red at Indian Hills. Good food, great views, and a Fairfield Bay favorite.
Looking for farm fresh beef for your family? Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company has you covered. Choose from a whole, half, or a quarter beef, or purchase individual packaged cuts. Our cattle are locally raised, and your beef is processed at a trusted local facility for quality you can taste. Best of all, your order is picked up and hand-delivered locally right to your door by Eddie Whitehurst. Call Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company today and put farm-raised beef on your family's table.
Ready for your next beach getaway? Discover the perfect vacation with Willock Condo Rentals. Enjoy beautiful beachfront condos in Navarre Beach and Panama City Beach, Florida. When you book directly with the owner, you'll pay no service fees, saving more money for fun in the sun. For over 15 years, Willock Condo Rentals has helped families create unforgettable beach memories with comfortable accommodations and breathtaking Gulf views. Start planning your next vacation today. Contact Willock Condo Rentals and experience the beach the way it was meant to be. Hungry? We've got you covered. Welcome to Bentley's Restaurant, Greer's Ferry's largest restaurant. Join us for breakfast and lunch every Tuesday and Wednesday, then come back Thursday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From homemade omelets and our Saturday breakfast buffet to fresh salads, daily lunch specials, and hand-cut ribeyes cut as big as you want them, there's something for everyone. Friday and Saturday nights are legendary with our seafood buffet featuring jumbo peel and eat shrimp, catfish, crawfish, and all your favorites. Plus, don't miss our delicious prime rib on Saturday nights and our crab leg dinner every Friday and Saturday. Whether you're joining us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you'll always find great food, generous portions, and friendly service. Bentley's Restaurant in Greer's Ferry. Come hungry, bring your friends, and make every meal one to remember.
It's time for Lake Area Takes. Join longtime Lake Area sports broadcasters John Verser and Austin Gray as they dive into the biggest stories, hottest debates, and boldest opinions in sports. John and Austin bring their experience, insight, and plenty of takes. Lake Area Takes is proudly sponsored by Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company, Bentley's Restaurant, Willock Condo Rentals, Little Red Restaurant, and Stan's Sports Cards. Lake Area Takes with John Verser and Austin Gray, where local voices deliver big-time sports talk.
Well, hello and welcome to Lake Area Takes, episode number 10, live here on Lake Area Sports. And from the fun of live television, I bet nobody can hear me right now. This is called procrastinating until the last moment. Ad-libbing. And I'm realizing that probably I was not coming through loud and clear. Let's try that. Welcome to Lake Area Takes, episode 10 with John Verser. I'm Austin Gray, and we are so excited you guys are joining us today. We've hit double digits on the show, and man, 10 weeks flies by a lot quicker than you would think. We were at the end of June when we started this, wasn't it?
It was right before the 4th of July, and now we have live high school action of all kinds. So we're excited to get things started.
Absolutely. And so this week, last week, we thank you all, by the way, for watching our college football preview show. John and I had a lot of fun doing that, and look forward to looking back in November at just how just how right or wrong we were, because there's always some of both. But as John said, high school sports is in full swing now, especially here in the Lake area. So we're excited to have our high school football preview show here today on Lake Area Sports. And we've got interviews today, most interviews we've ever had. So there's a record breaker for today. Most interviews so far on one episode of Lake Area Takes. We got all 4 coaches for our 4 Lake Area football teams. Have interviews from them today, and we're very excited to bring you those. And we'll talk just a little bit about each of these schools, and then we'll pretty much throw it straight over to the coaches' interviews that we've had. And we're going to start with Rosebud. They've been sitting in 8-man football now for a few years after coming back from 11, and so, statistically on paper, last season was kind of a tough go for them. Had a winless regular season, but then turn everything around, have a little help come up from the junior high team at the end of the year, and you win a playoff game. And somehow winning games in the playoffs can make your regular season just seem a little bit less important and make you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, it gives you that spark that you'll hopefully carry on to the next season. Hopefully they'll be able to do that as they kick things off soon. So, yeah, hopefully that little nudge is kind of the thing they've been looking for, because they said it was a tough season in 2025.
And Coach Hag gave us a great interview. We got to have a good conversation with him last week, and so we're going to turn it over now to that interview and see what Coach Hag has to say about the upcoming Rosebud Rambler football season. All right, we are joined now by Coach Garrett Hag of the Rosebud Ramblers football program. And, Coach, we appreciate you jumping on with me and John this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for doing this.
No, not a problem. So we're going into this season, to the 2026 season, through the summer and from the past spring. How do you? What's your outlook on the team so far?
We have very high expectations. I think our biggest downfall this year is going to be kind of like in years past, is just going to be depth. Right now we've got 16 on the roster. Which, I mean, for 8-man, with that. And I think the thing that's going to kind of set us apart this year than in years past is, even though, we've got 16 guys, any of the 16 guys could start for us any Friday night, So the level of competition is definitely there, whereas years past we might have had, 8 or 9 guys that could play quality minutes, and then after that it was kind of a steep drop off. So I feel confident in our team so far. Obviously, it would be nicer to have a few more numbers, just to have a little bit more depth. But I think our outlook on the season is very positive, and everybody knows what the goal is, and obviously we're going to do whatever we can to get some W's this year.
Just looking at the early part of the schedule there, you've got quite a tough stretch to open the season after you have a home game, 3 straight road games. How do you navigate that and come out in a positive way?
Yeah, I think, the 3 road game stretch is going to be kind of tough, but I think this year with us being in sanctioned 8-man in the 2A division, a lot of those road games, they're not that far, especially, when we're used to driving all the way to Corning or all the way down to Texarkana. So I don't think that's going to play a big factor in our guys, and we usually travel pretty well as well. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing, as long as the fans, drive to the games and, cheer us on and, keep us up. I think we'll be fine in that little stretch right there.
And you guys hit a pretty big conference stretch right there in a row, and going right after that stretch of road games that John alluded to, you come back home with a chance to get a couple big wins at Izzard County and Arkansas Christian, and then honestly 4 of your last 6 are at home. How big is that in your season to play the vast majority of your stretch on your home field?
Yeah, I think it's a big deal for us, especially if we can stay healthy, and then, have the home crowd behind us late in the year. Our conference stretch is, and I've said this a few times to a few different people, is, we just don't really know, how it's going to be yet, because we've got several teams that are new, not only to the conference, but to 8-man in general. We've got Magazine coming down from 11-man. They had a really good year last year. I think made the playoffs. And then we've got ICC, who won the state championship in 8-man a few years ago. I'm sure they're going to be pretty tough as well. Johnson County, we don't really know a whole lot about those guys as well. And then Arkansas Christian Academy. So, I think it's anybody's, it's up for grabs. Whoever, wants it more, I think, in our league is, that wants to win the most, I think is going to have the most success. So I think that, obviously our goal is to make the playoffs, and to do that, we need to win at least 3 conference games. So I think having a lot of home games there, that last stretch will, be really big for our program, and, giving us a chance to try to, get that playoff spot.
Who are some of your key returnees from last season, and how do you see them impacting what you do this year?
Yeah, I think, we've got 6 seniors, and, all 6 of them are going to play a crucial role in the team. We're also pretty sophomore heavy, and I think a lot of those guys are going to help. A lot of the younger guys are going to help the older guys, kind of a mixture between the two. I think last year we were a few more players away, from having a really good season last year. We struggled with depth, and, by the time the 9th graders got to move up within this season, we did win, our playoff game against Cave City. So I think having those younger guys there, in combination with the older guys, are going to be huge for us. Some of the guys that's going to make big impacts for us, sophomore Cade Wortham, he's going to primarily be offensive player. He's going to be our quarterback. Had an outstanding game last year against Cave City. Had some moments against Corning. We just didn't produce that game at the end of the year. We'll also see guys like Maddox Smith, senior. He's going to be kind of like a fullback for us, run the football. He can catch. He can block very well on the edges. Senior Eli Jordan is going to be a big playmaker for us on offense, running back, maybe a little bit of wide receiver. Manny Waits, another senior wide receiver, running back. Drake Adkin on the defensive side of the ball. I believe he led us in tackles last year at the cornerback position. He's going to be a big help for us, and he's going to be a junior this year. And then we're returning a couple of our offensive linemen, Hunter Palmer and Jude Hughes, both seniors. And then Manny Jazo is going to be our center for us as a sophomore. So like I said, I could sit here and name all 16 off, because all 16 is going to play a crucial role in our success. We've got a lot of guys that can get the ball. Bubs came here this morning and took pictures for our intro, and he said he needed all the playmakers in the picture, and about the whole team. He walked up there to take a picture because they all thought they were playmakers. So, but in reality, that's kind of the truth. We've got a lot of guys that's going to get the ball in their hands, and I think that's also going to help us. Whereas last last couple of years, we've had 1 or 2 guys that teams could really key on, and this year we've got several that can carry the football for us, or catch the football for us, or whatever they need to do.
One of those sophomores that you mentioned, Cade Wortham, you called him, you said he can throw the ball better than anyone I have ever seen as a 9th grader. And that playoff game with Cave City just kind of caught everybody by surprise. It's those who hadn't seen him, those who had knew what he was capable of. And people from the outside looking in looked at that stat line and were amazed. Mm-hmm. Just hone in on him for just a second as your quarterback and talk about the impact he's going to have for your team.
Yeah, not only stat-wise, he's a leader, man. Like, he shows up every day. He gets frustrated because we've had some guys not show up when they should be here. He's going to be our locker room leader, not only quarterback, locker room leader until he's out of here. Just a great young man. His play speaks for itself. I'm looking forward to him having a lot of really big games for us. And, when it gets down into crunch time, he's going to be the guy that we're going to look to and say, hey, we got to get the ball in his hands, keep it in his hands, and let go win it for us, whatever we got to do. And last year, he had a lot of, in that playoff game, and he had a lot of passing yards. And part of it, he likes to run the ball too. Part of it is, as a ninth grader, I wanted to try to protect him a little bit. I didn't want him to get banged up and stuff like that. So, for the game, I told him, in junior high, it's fine if run over some people, but senior high, they'll look bigger up here. You might want to try to protect yourself because we're gonna need you for the long stretch, But yeah, he's just a phenomenal young man. I knew that he was going to be big for us when he was a seventh grader. When he was a seventh grader, we had him at fullback, and he ended up moving up his last game at the junior high for the junior high, and kind of the same story. We played Marshall, and he had a really good game throwing the ball. And ever since then, he's kind of been, that guy that we've been waiting on to get up to the senior high level to throw it for us. But yeah, like I said, don't be surprised if you start seeing a little bit more rushing yards on his stat sheet this year.
Defensively, what do you guys need to do to have success this year?
Man, and that's the toughest thing with 8-man is defense, because the field's you got a lot more space to defend. We hired a new defense coordinator in Coach Willis. He was at Quitman last year, and he's done a phenomenal job so far. We've put in a new system that puts more of our playmakers on the field. We're not going to have as many defensive linemen out there. We're going to have a lot more speed out there, and I think that's going to help us a lot. Also, switching to more of the zone coverage. We've been trying to play man because, that's what you see a lot of an 8-man, but we're going to try some zone out and see if that gives us a better opportunity to slow people down and force turnovers. But the two things that, really the stuff that we've been working on is hip explosion, tackling. We've got to get a lot better at tackling, and then forcing turnovers. It's hard. It's really hard to get fourth down stops in 8-man. So if you're going to have a really good defense, you're going to have a defense that can, force fumbles or interceptions throughout the game, and that's kind of our game plan.
At a point last year, you guys seemed like you were injury plagued, and you had some guys go down with some unfortunate season enders. So update us on those young men who will be coming back from injuries this year and the impact that they're going to have.
Yeah, and that's we've had a couple that had ACL injuries, and that they've told me that they're done. So that's part of the reason why we're down to 16. Originally in the spring, I had us around 24, and we've lost a few to injury or moving schools, even a couple that didn't get the grades like they should. But of the ones that did get hurt last year, I think the two that's going to make a really big impact and have really good comeback years, Jacob Yandell, he's going to be a junior for us. He got hurt, I think, the second game of the season against Woodlawn. He's our kicker, has an insane boot, and he'll also play a little bit of offensive line, tight end for us, depending on the situation. And the other one's going to be Daxton Clark. He suffered a knee injury middle of the season. I think he's had a really successful off season after he got cleared and all that stuff. So I think he'll do a lot for us, both on offense and defense, in the secondary and at the receiver position.
What are some of the areas where your team needs to improve to have a successful season this year?
I think tackling is probably the biggest thing. It comes down to the basics. I would say tackling and blocking up front. We do have more experience on the offensive line, and our offensive line is a little bit bigger than they were last year. But just blocking and tackling is the two biggest things for us. I don't think scheme. I think our scheme is right, and I think we put our guys in the best situation to be successful. But just taking better angles, making sure we wrap up and secure tackles, and then make sure that we sustain blocks, I think is going to be the biggest impact on our season, whether we have a lot of success or whether we don't have a lot of success.
How important is it in a couple of weeks on Friday night to go out and get game one against Midland? I mean, we talked about the whole schedule or a little bit earlier, but everybody knows how important that first game of the year is, especially when it's at home. So how ready does your team need to be? What do you guys need to do to walk out 1-0 after September 4th?
I think that, I mean, it's going to be very crucial to our success that we come out and we play hard, against Midland. That was one of the games last year. We actually had to cancel it because Midland didn't have enough players. They kind of got banged up to start the season. And that was one of the ones that I was really looking forward to just because we're so close. And, they're very similar to us at numbers. There's some teams that will play an 8-man that, they're more like in the mid-20s, whereas us in Midland, we're, hanging around that 16-player mark. So I think that alone gives us a lot better shot at getting a W to start the season. And also just, I think the players will be ready. A lot of them were upset that we had to cancel. They were really looking forward to playing Midland. I don't know if I'd really call it a rivalry against Rosebud, but again, just because we're two 8-man teams so close in proximity, it's, it means a little bit more, especially since it's week one as well,
Well, Coach Hag, we wish you the best this season, and we hope that you guys have a successful year, and you can check out Rosebud Rambler games right here on Lake Area Sports. And game one, as we just said, September 4th, home against Midland. Coach Hag, we appreciate it, and good luck this year.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
So we appreciate Coach Hag, and he had a lot of good things to say, and I would be just personally surprised if, this team doesn't win more games this year after, all that they have going for them coming into this year.
Yeah, it sounds like they've kind of got things turned a little bit. I've always got to be concerned about numbers at that level if you have enough injuries, but hopefully they'll remain injury-free. And goodness, that tough start to the season. They've got a game at home and then 3 straight on the road against Augusta, Woodlawn, and Cedar Ridge. And so if they can come out of that healthy and kind of navigate their way through that, then hopefully finish strong.
Yeah, they're very home heavy late in the year, and even their 2 road games are at B Branch and at Guy. So get all your travel out of the way early, and then as you're going further in your season, the less travel on your body and on your mind, that can help a team more than people think it can, for sure. Great job by Coach Hag. And again, they are off again this week. They are not part of high school week 0. They will kick off season on Friday, September 4th next week. So good luck to Rosebud this year. Southside B Branch, another 8-man team within Rosebud's conference. Now these guys are entering their 3rd year of competition at the 8-man football level. And we kind of touched on it with their coach, but they've kind of had 2 very different seasons, and you look on paper at their records and it's not much different, from 4-4 to 4-5. However, very first year they were a team, they won their first 4 games, had some problems with injury, and then last year they started a little slow and picked it up as the year went along. So B Branch has got a chance this year to kind of break the current level of where they've been, try to take a step up, and they've got their biggest roster they've had so far as a program with 27 young men, so that's big.
They do, and getting to open up, as Coach Langrell will tell you, with the new stadium right on the campus, and so that is huge, and we'll let him explain for all the reasons why. But yeah, seems to be a lot of optimism from the Southside B Branch folks heading into the 2026 season.
Let's hear from Coach Langrell, and he'll preview Southside season just a little bit more.
All right, and we are joined now live by Coach Todd Langrell, Southside B Branch Hornets football. And Coach, we appreciate you jumping on and being with us this morning.
Glad to be here. Football's here.
Football is here, and you guys are one of the teams kicking everything off tomorrow night on the road at Woodlawn. What do you guys got prepared for that game, and kind of tell us what we can expect to see game one?
Well, playing Woodlawn's kind of a measuring stick for a program since they played in the state championship game last year. I'm excited for our team to compete. We saw them early in the year or in the summer in a team camp, and I think we're comparable. I think they have a lot of tradition their way, and we're still new at this a little bit, but I believe our kids are confident. As far as what you can expect from us, I think we'll be two tight ends some. We'll spread it out. We're hoping to have a balance of 50-50 run pass, but my motto in 30 years have always been, hey, we're going to take what they give us. If we've got to throw it ever down, that's what we'll do. If we got to run it ever down, that's what we'll do. So we're just going to leave that wide open, and we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
Now that the program is in its third year, what are the differences, and then how have the expectations changed?
Well, number one, when you say move up, move back, move in, move out, they know what to do. They know how to put their equipment on. So that's good. And so when you speak football language, they know what you're talking about now. And when you have a new field like we have that is unbelievable, it's the nicest field I've ever walked on. I mean, it's super nice. We were practicing on the baseball field, and you don't have landmarks on. You can't paint numbers and hashes and all that. But now we have a field. I think when we say go 12 back to 10, go 10 yards, go 5 yards, that's just that's a lot better for offensively for knowing where to go and how to react. When you talk about we got to fit the alley in the run game, and now we know. So practices have been so much better being able to be on a real football field.
You mentioned the new stadium and
expectations. I'm sorry, you asked about expectations. We go into every game, every season. Hey, we want to win every game. We don't want to compete. When we get on the bus, we want to have in our mind that we can win any ball game that we show up to. So that's the mentality that we have. Not to say that's what we're going to do, but that's the mentality we have.
I was going to jump back to the stadium real quick because that is a big part of y'all's program coming into this year. As we have been seeing the pictures on Facebook, we've seen the progress, and I mean, you're right. Some of the things we see now are incredible. What does it mean, not just for the football team, but for the school, for the community, to have a new stadium on campus?
Well, and it's not just the community. I've had coaches from Greenwood, Siloam Springs, Conway, local schools. They come up this way going to Branson or wherever, and every one of them had stopped by our field and saw how really nice it is. And for the community, it's an investment in our school. And, just like anytime nowadays, schools are looking to recruit kids and I think getting kids to your school facilities are number one, because we've got a great school here at Southside, and having that new shiny dime up there on the hill was hopefully it'll attract some families and schools to come to our district. But our school board, our administration has done a great job on the complex. I'm proud that I've had my fingerprints on just about everything out there. I've had a say in it, and I'm proud that they let me do that. So that's been rewarding. It's been tough at times and a lot of time spent, but it has been very rewarding. And hopefully September 18th, our plan is to be out there. We're going to play there. Not sure if we may have to have some porta potties, but they're trying to get ready for September 18th.
Open up with a couple of games on the road before you get to that home opener in the new stadium. So how important is it to manage those first couple of games on the road?
Well, I kind of did that on purpose, scheduling, because I knew this stadium and everything's going to be ready for. So the first we play Woodlawn next week, and we got an open week, and then we play Hermitage. But I always think I wish there was closer games to have, but that's what 8-man football gets you. So it's good to travel. It's good to prepare. I think both teams beat us last year. And like I said earlier, it's a measuring stick for our program. And, we always want to play, Woodlawn is a physical team. Hermitage is going to have more athletes. So I always wanted to play somebody physical and somebody fast. So that's what we're getting early on in non-conference. And we're excited about it, definitely.
I've been lucky enough to get to broadcast y'all's games first 2 seasons, and it's been it was kind of a very different both years. Very first year you guys started 4-0, and then last year, there were some close losses early, and then you kind of turned it around late in the year. So you've kind of had a little bit of both, and how big is it this year? Last year a lot of those games were close early, but they just didn't fall your way. How big is it this year, not just on these first couple road games, but just in general, first half of your schedule to get out to a good start?
I was watching film this morning actually, and I counted that we had 7 sophomores on the field at once on defense early on last year. And I was always told by my old high school coach that I coached with at Mayflower, George Jones, he said, if you got a sophomore starting on defense, for every sophomore, you're probably going to lose a game. But now I think as of today, we have 1 sophomore starting on defense. The rest are juniors and seniors. I think the weight room has done so much improvement for our fellows. I think we're bigger, stronger, and faster. Well, I know we are, and I think our kids know they are. We talk about being physical, and last year's team late, we got a few kids that decided they want to come back out and play. Hayes Hulse and Brazen Fortenberry, Brock Hayes, which made us a better team. I believe we've got all the irons in the fire now. We've got everybody that should be playing. I think early on we didn't really have an identity on offense, and later on we did, and we were able to be more multiple.
Who are some of the key returnees on offense that people can look forward to seeing on the field this year?
Well, all of our line is back, starting with Jacob Barnes at center. He was a sophomore. He's a junior. Jake Sweeney he's left guard. He's a junior. Seth Cagle, right guard, is a junior. All these kids I'm talking about started as sophomores last year. Sam Smith was a sophomore last year playing our sniffer back. He's a junior. Jackson Kreitz got injured the first game last year. Didn't play the rest of the season. He's going to start out playing running back. He's a senior. And Caden Mahan, our quarterback, is a senior with 1 year experience. So we've got some experienced kids that had 0 experience in high school football last year. So they kind of know the ins and outs of things and how things work. And, last year and especially the year before, as a coach is, there's answers to defense. But if you can't relay that message to the kids and they know what to do, you can't do it. You can't perform that change or adjustment or everything else. But now I think we have some of that in place where if we can check at the line and they know what we're talking about and do different things or make the defense wrong. And on defense, we were horrible tacklers last year, and hopefully this year, being bigger, faster, and stronger, we're better at that and more physical. With this heat, the heat that we have has just been awful. We've tried to go in the mornings as good as we can, but our junior high practice is at 7:30, so we've done that some days. And other than that, we have to go into our old gym, and we can go in pads, but we can't tackle to the ground. And so that has limited probably all practices for small schools that don't have an indoor facility.
I want to ask about your quarterback for just a second, because he is, the quarterback's is the leader on the field. And Mahan last year, he showed he showed a lot of improvement, took a lot of big strides as the year went along last year, and had a few games where he put up the stats on offense for sure. How important is his play this year to your team as only a junior with, potentially 2 seasons left after already showing improvement last year as a sophomore?
Well, he's actually a senior this year.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
And Caden is he's improved vastly, and I'll give credit to him. And he's really worked on his timing, his touch is better, and his accuracy is better. And he is a leader on our team. He says our prayer every day after practice, so kids respect him. He got better like you said, as the year went. Like I said, he's still improving. And I'll go back to the football field, being able to be on the actual field, being able to throw those routes we want to throw, and that's a huge difference than practicing on a baseball field.
What are some of the areas where you consider strengths of your team going into the season?
Well, I think definitely it's our offensive and defensive line. It's kind of weird. I don't know how it works like this, but our senior high team, we are very lineman heavy, and our skill guys, we don't have a lot of them. Our junior high are very skill heavy, not many linemen. So that's just the way it goes sometimes. And we do have some skill. We just don't have a lot of bodies. So that's why I say we're going to have to be physical, run the football, and then play action off of it and do some other things.
Well, Coach, I'm excited to see you guys tomorrow at Woodlawn for game number 1. I hope you guys get off to a great start, and we are very excited to be in B Branch on the 18th and see the new stadium. We're really looking forward to it. So, wanted to
we are too. I mean, if there's a bank in town, that's when you want to go get it on September 18th, because I think everybody will be at Southside B Branch.
Well, we know we're going to be there, and we appreciate you for taking time to talk to us this morning. And we wish you the best of luck this season, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks for all y'all do.
Thank you, Coach.
I'm telling you what, it's going to be a pretty exciting day in B Branch on the 18th. I'm looking forward to it because I suspect a lot of people, especially in blue and white, to be there for that opening game. And pretty cool, too, that it's going to be against a team fairly close in Midland, so that maybe there'll be a lot of people on the other side as well and can kind of pack the place out. And if you have not seen what this stadium looks like, there are pictures all over Facebook. Get on there and find them because it is looking fantastic.
Yeah. Interesting nuggets. I just read on the Cleveland County Herald about Woodlawn for tomorrow. They are out. Their starting quarterback from last year is out with an injury, so he will not play.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find that young man's name.
And this was a Woodlawn team last year that beat Southside by 30.
Ran for 480 yards.
He did.
And he ran for 218. So he is out, and the guy that is starting is a senior, Parker Arnold. Last started in junior high, and it also mentions that they graduated a lot on the lines. So
roster size, I noticed, was a lot smaller than last year. Their quarterback being out from the game I remember calling last year, 63-33, I believe was the score, and that quarterback was, by far, to me, my opinion, the best quarterback B Branch played all year last year. Yeah. And so him being out is definitely going to open up an opportunity for B Branch to go steal one tomorrow.
Yeah, especially on the road like that. Any advantage you can have out. I mean, you hate that the young man is out. It's most, not all, of this season, and you hate to hear that, but it's an opportunity that Southside B Branch can take advantage of. And when you're on the road, any advantage you can get is a good one.
Against the defending state finals.
Yes.
So big opportunity there for B Branch. We wish them luck. And again, we'll see if they can kind of get out of the around 500 slump they've been in these first couple of seasons and post a winning record this year. We've got 2 more schools to preview here on Lake Area Sports High School Preview Show Day, Guy Perkins and Quitman. And we will hear from both of their coaches in just a moment. But let's pause and hear from our sponsors again real quick here on Lake Area Takes. We're back in just a second. Stay right where you are.
Are you a sports card collector? Then make your next stop Stan's Sports Cards in Greenbrier. Whether you're chasing vintage legends or today's hottest rookies, Stan's Sports Cards has something for every sports fan. Browse an incredible selection of sports cards, jerseys, memorabilia, and collectibles from your favorite teams and players. Looking to sell? Stan's Sports Cards is actively buying vintage and modern sports cards. Turn those cards sitting in a box into cash today. Visit Stan's Sports Cards at 26 South Broadview, Highway 65, in Greenbrier, open Tuesdays through Fridays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Discover Little Red at Indian Hills, where good food, great views, and Arkansas hospitality come together in Fairfield Bay. Enjoy lunch or dinner with comfortable indoor seating, a relaxing outdoor patio, and barbecue available Thursday through Saturday. From golfers fresh off the course to locals and visitors alike, Little Red is the place to gather, eat well, and unwind. Little Red at Indian Hills. Good food, great views, and a Fairfield Bay favorite.
Looking for farm fresh beef for your family? Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company has you covered. Choose from a whole, half, or a quarter beef, or purchase individual packaged cuts. Our cattle are locally raised, and your beef is processed at a trusted local facility for quality you can taste. Best of all, your order is picked up and hand-delivered locally right to your door by Eddie Whitehurst. Call Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company today and put farm-raised beef on your family's table.
Ready for your next beach getaway? Discover the perfect vacation with Willock Condo Rentals. Enjoy beautiful beachfront condos in Navarre Beach and Panama City Beach, Florida. When you book directly with the owner, you'll pay no service fees, saving more money for fun in the sun. For over 15 years, Willock Condo Rentals has helped families create unforgettable beach memories with comfortable accommodations and breathtaking Gulf views. Start planning your next vacation today. Contact Willock Condo Rentals and experience the beach the way it was meant to be. Hungry? We've got you covered. Welcome to Bentley's Restaurant, Greer's Ferry's largest restaurant. Join us for breakfast and lunch every Tuesday and Wednesday, then come back Thursday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From homemade omelets and our Saturday breakfast buffet to fresh salads, daily lunch specials, and hand-cut ribeyes cut as big as you want them, there's something for everyone. Friday and Saturday nights are legendary with our seafood buffet featuring jumbo peel and eat shrimp, catfish, crawfish, and all your favorites. Plus, don't miss our delicious prime rib on Saturday nights and our crab leg dinner every Friday and Saturday. Whether you're joining us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you'll always find great food, generous portions, and friendly service. Bentley's Restaurant in Greer's Ferry. Come hungry, bring your friends, and make every meal one to remember.
We are back here on Lake Area Takes, and I don't know if you saw it not too long ago, but some Arkansas publication posted about Bentley's in Greer's Ferry, said that they had the best buffet in the state.
I did not see that.
I can't remember for the life of me, cannot remember which publication it was, but they, I don't know how their polling was done, or they had people visit multiple submissions, but that seafood buffet is a big deal, especially here locally. But
that would be the job to have, getting to go around and try all these restaurants out.
That's a fact. So hats off to Bentley's, and
congratulations.
Yeah, and they're awesome with us here at Lake Area, because when athletic season starts, they put the games up on their TVs in the restaurant, especially West Side games. They're local, and that's always cool to log on Facebook and see that they're posting, hey, games on, come eat, come listen, come watch, and so yeah, thanks to Bentley's for being an awesome sponsor. We're in our high school preview episode, high school Lake Erie sports football preview. Got to talk about Rosebud and Southside B Branch, and tell you, we're excited to talk about Guy Perkins. This will be their third year as well in 8-man football and high school football, and they are going to be covered this year here on Lake Area Sports. So they've got Gavin Strother going to be following them around this year. Hello. And
live TV.
Live TV happens, and so we're going to go ahead while we get this fixed. And let's hear from Coach Varnell. He had some good things to say about this year's Guy Perkins' team, and we'll talk a little more about him right after this.
All right, we are joined now by Guy Perkins head coach Tony Varnell. Coach, thanks for joining us here for a little bit. We appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you guys for having us.
Absolutely. So, you guys are still your guys are still a week out. Y'all season doesn't officially kick off till September. So just kind of tell us how season prep is going, what you like from what you're seeing so far from your guys.
First thing first, we brought in a new coach, a new offensive coordinator, standing behind me, other side, Coach Jackson. As we have him in, taking over the offense, but we've mainly been doing conditioning and spending a lot of time in the weight room trying to get those boys prepared, just still with the low numbers and having to play both ways all the time. So we've spent a lot of time conditioning, spent a lot of time in that weight room, and we're putting in a few new plays, but our focus has definitely been conditioning and weight room.
Now that you're going to be in your third season as a program, what are the big differences that you've seen from the first 2 years?
Our biggest difference this year is definitely depth. My first year, I think we had 11 players on roster. Last year, early, we had 14 players and lost a couple of them pretty early in the season. This year, we're sitting at 17 players, which is the first time it's allowed us to go offense versus defense in practice. So our depth is a huge factor. And, of course, we only lost one senior last year, so we're gaining a little bit more football knowledge with those boys as we move forward, too.
Kind of elaborate on that, because a lot of schools have lost a lot this past year, but you have a lot of experience returning after only losing one senior. How big of a factor is that, having knowledge and experience?
It's a huge, it's huge. Those guys, they've come in. We kind of built the culture around these guys. So they are taking on some of the younger ones, and a couple of students that we have move into the district this year. They've built it, continue to grow the culture with these guys, but also the X's and O's. Like I said, you're starting to see that football knowledge take off with these guys, and it's starting to spread it around. So now where they're holding each other accountable, and just the expectations have grown a lot.
You talked a little bit about the change offensively. So what do you guys expect to do on that side of the ball this year?
It won't change a whole lot compared to last year. Just a few more wrinkles in the offense. But we're going to kind of be pretty much the same offense that we did previously. But I think we have some pretty solid players back there that, along with some move-ins, that should make the ball move a little bit more efficiently down the field.
So let's hone in on some of those kids. We want to make sure we get some recognition out there. Who are some of the individuals that are going to help you on the offensive side of the ball this year?
Our offense definitely is going to be kind of things are going to go into our new quarterback, number 0, Gabe Henry. He's come in, kind of learned the system pretty quick, coupled with his experience that he's gained at other schools. One of our returning guys, number 53, Sloan Hartsfield, he's going to be a huge playmaker for us. And then one of our younger guys has truly stepped up this year, number 8, Caden Cox. He's going to be a huge benefit to our program. And then, of course, just returning our whole offensive line. I mean, that's huge all the way around.
Defensively, what do you guys need to do to have a successful season?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, it's pretty simple. Last year we had some guys that were very hesitant on defense. They didn't like to get downhill. They didn't fly to the football. So that's kind of been our focus this year. Is just the gang tackling, attack the football, and hopefully hopefully it's resonating with some of those guys.
You guys start the season very home game heavy on your schedule. How important is it with a lot of home games early? How important is it to get out to a good start?
It's extremely important for us to get out to a good start. You know, I mean, these guys the last couple of years, you know, it's been a growing program. So these guys, they put in the hours, they put in the time in the weight room, especially out on these fields, conditioning and things. So it's huge to get started early, have success early, but also having those families behind them. You know, if we can get a little bit of success early, then they will see the fruits of their labor with all that they've done this summer.
We talked a little bit about the guys that you expect to have big years offensively, but what about on the other side of the ball on defense?
You know, honestly, it's going to kind of revolve around our defensive line, how well they can hold. So obviously looking at Logan Butler, looking at Gus McGee, looking at Holden Gray, you know, if they can stand their ground on the line and let our linebackers and our safeties get downhill. And again, some of those guys that I mentioned before are going to be huge on our defensive side of the ball, between Gabe Henry, Sloan Hartsfield, and even Wesley Killen coming downhill from that safety position.
So you guys,
what are some of the keys for you?
Go ahead, John. Go ahead. No, go ahead, John. You're good.
I just got to ask, what are some of the keys for you guys to have a successful season?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys heard Coach Morris in the background, but definitely health. You know, we've been fortunate the last couple of years with not any major injuries outside of one gentleman last year. But you know, if we can continue being healthy on both sides of the ball, and also a little bit more depth will help us. You know, that was kind of a big gift for us last year. But, you know, we get into that late second quarter, or even early in the second half, you know, we were completely gassed. So having that depth on the sideline coupled with the health will help us tremendously.
Coach Varnell, we are excited to be covering you guys this year here on Lake Area Sports. First game is September 4th, and we appreciate you joining us today, and we wish you the best of luck this season, Coach. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You know, he said a lot of good things in a short interview, but one thing you got to remember, you know, especially with Guy and Southside both, they are both growing programs, and you know, he talked about this being the first year that he's been able to have a, you know, 8v8 in practice because he's got enough boys to play. And one thing the Southside coach mentioned that he kind of alluded to as well was now, after 3 years, you can say things on the field. You're not teaching the game of football anymore. They already know football now, and you can go beyond that, and that's bigger than I think a lot of people realize.
Oh, absolutely. Just a third-year program for both of those schools. And, you know, when you start something like that, you don't have that foundation for most of the kids who are going to play of the Pee Wee football and junior high. You're starting from scratch right there, so that is huge to be able to practice and see what someone else may be able to do against you and get on that field and just have that repetition against someone else. You know, I mean, that's huge for any program.
And one thing to note, too, about Guy, we'll make sure everybody knows, so the last 2 years, Hendrix College in Conway has been the proud host field for Southside and Guy football. Obviously, B Branch, Southside has a new stadium that is up, and so this year, Guy Perkins is also going to be relocating home games, still in Conway, but they'll be playing all of their home games out on Peyton Hillis Field in Conway. So just search for Peyton Hillis Field. For those who know anything Razorback football, you know who Peyton Hillis is. And so Peyton Hillis Field will be the site for all the Guy Perkins home games this year. And we wish them the best of luck. Again, only lost one player, got the largest roster they've had. So looking forward to seeing what Guy can do. And again, we're covering them this year on Lake Area Sports, so be sure you check them out. one team remaining, and this is the our lone 11-man school here in the Lake Area world. Is the Quitman Bulldogs, and they've had some really good seasons the past few years. And last year was a very, very strong start for them. Going through the first half of their schedule with all wins, and then things kind of deteriorated near the end. But these guys this year, and we'll talk about it with Coach Corley, but tough conference, new coach, but kind of exciting, optimism when you look at Quitman football this year.
There is, you've got some experience back, some people who moved back into the district to give you some additional weapons. It is a very tough conference slate for Quitman, but I think there's a lot of optimism there with Coach Corley. He was a new coach, but not new to Quitman, assistant there for a long time before he went off to BB for a year. Was the offensive coordinator there last year. I guess he said he was about away from Quitman for about a half a year or something like that. So good to welcome him back and see what he's going to be able to do with Quitman this year.
And they'll talk about all that, plus some of those players that are moving back in, going to make a big impact this year. He'll talk about that as well. So let's go out and let's have hear from our final head coach, Coach Trenton Corley out of Quitman, and we'll preview Bulldog football.
All right, we are excited to be joined now by Quitman Bulldog head coach Trenton Corley. And Coach, thanks for hopping on with us this evening. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate y'all having me.
And I guess so. This is technically year one for you, but technically not. So welcome back to Quitman, I guess we should say. So for those who don't know, talk about your time that you were at Quitman before.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I was gone for a second, not gone long. So I was a assistant here for 7 years, started here in 2018. This is my first job out of college. I got to work as an undergraduate assistant at UCA for 3 seasons, and then come here and worked as an assistant. And then Coach Mars was head coach that hired me, Coach DJ Mars, and worked for him for 7 years. And he kind of helped me, work into a little bit more responsibility throughout those 7 years. Gave me the office coordinator title in 2021 and kind of let me fully call it in 2022. And then I left for a brief moment, got to go to BB last year and be the offensive coordinator for the 25 season, was there for the fall, which was great. Got to work with Coach Sparks, who's one of the best young coaches in the state right now. And then the job came open, and Mr. Stacks, our athletic director, superintendent, called and said, "Hey, you want to come back?" And I said, "Sure, let's do it." So right back after 1 semester away, and happy to be here. Really excited about it.
I know you weren't gone long, but what are some of the things maybe that you learned in a different space in BB that you might implement or do differently there in Quitman now that you're back?
Yeah, well, a lot. It was cool, first off, just to go work. I'd always said, it would be good, probably as great as Coach Mars was, and I learned so much from Coach Mars. It's always good just to learn from somebody else. Everybody does things differently, and there's lots of good ways to do things. So going to work with Coach Sparks, who I'd known since college, was really good. And we did things a lot differently. If you watched the offense at BB in 2025 and said, I told you that was the same guy calling the plays as the guy who was calling the offense the year before Quitman, you'd say I was a liar. It looked a lot different what we did there just to compete in 5A Central, which is one of the toughest leagues in the state at any classification. We ran the ball a lot more. We were a lot heavier in our personnel groupings because that's what we needed to do to win. So kind of learned how to win in a different way. And we were able to pull a playoff spot, take Hot Springs to the playoffs or to the overtime in the first round of the playoffs. So we were competitive. We had to do that a different way. Learned a lot about defense too. Coach Sparks is a great defensive mind. So got to watch some of the stuff he did from a practice perspective. But I think we've implemented a lot of that here with Coach Anderson. And he's kind of bought into the let's get better at tackling here. And that was something I thought that we were really good at BB that I hadn't seen us be really good at here at Quitman in the past. So we're doing a lot of things there and just practice structure, logistical stuff week to week from Coach Sparks. He did a really good job of that kind of stuff. So definitely a mix of learning from Coach Mars and Coach Sparks there.
Kind of a broad question, not honing in on anything specific yet, but Quitman's win total has increased every year since 2023. Go from 4 wins to 5 wins to 7 wins. And you can, there's still ways to go up from 7. So what do you got to do this year to try to keep that trend heading upward? And get over 7 wins from last year.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's something we talk about a lot here is, in 2018 when I got here as an assistant, Quitman had never won a playoff game and never hosted a playoff game. And we were in 2A still at that time, and we did that pretty quick. In 2020, we hosted and won the first playoff game in school history, and that became that was a big deal. And it was a big deal because the school had never done it before. And we've won 3 playoff games in that stretch since then. And it's kind of at the point now we talk a lot about okay, winning 6 or 7 games and going to the first round of playoffs and maybe winning a playoff game. That's normal here now, which is great. But now it's all right, let's do the next thing. So we talk a lot about competing in the biggest moments. When you look at those schedules, there's been a lot of people say it about us, and it's not false, is we win the games that we're supposed to win and we lose the games we're supposed to lose. So we're trying to make a big deal about what are those highly competitive moments against the Salems, against the Newports, against those teams that it's normal for them to be in the second and third rounds of the playoffs, and going and not being worried about those games, embracing those games. And I'm hoping that when we get to those this season, that our kids will have a little bit of a different mindset and won't be satisfied with saying, hey, it was cool to win 6, maybe 7 games and go to the playoffs. That's normal now, and we're trying to make it normal to go past that point.
After opening the season on the road, you've got 3 straight at home. So how important is it for you guys to jump off to a fast start?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. We've got a lot of new guys on this team. We graduated a good senior class, but we still have a big senior class coming up this year. We have a dozen seniors this year, and some of them have a ton of experience. Guys like Caden Harnick and Jacob Green, who are 3-year starters at our tackle spots. Malachi Goodrose, 3-year starter at linebacker. So those guys have experience, but we also are playing some new guys who are ready to play, just maybe hadn't had the game experience. So it's really important in those non-conference games that we go compete, go win a couple of them, and build a little confidence. And then that third in that 3-game home stretch they're talking about is the conference opener against Melbourne, which is going to be one of the biggest games on the schedule. They're really good. They're going to be better than they were last year. It was a tight game last year, and I think that'll have big playoff implications right there off the bat. So definitely need to build a little confidence from the get-go, and then protect home field a little bit in that 3-game stretch.
Now, for those who don't quite understand, especially y'all's conference, you are in a very tough conference this year. And, with everything getting shifted around, I think a lot of teams from all sports are kind of experiencing some new realignment and some new teams. And, you alluded to Salem and Newport. You don't want to look ahead too far, but man, those are 2 tough teams, and you get them both on the road this year. What do you got to do to go not only to beat those Salems and those Newports, like you said, but to go do it on the road?
Yeah, well, and we kind of just talked about it. It starts really, you can't, we've talked about it a little bit, we got to go compete in those high-level games and embrace those. But at the same time, we got to go to Perryville this Friday, and we got to go compete. That's the first one on the schedule. That's the most important one, because if we struggle now, then it's not going to matter as much, So it's about building confidence to them. Hopefully, when we go to Newport, we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. And then after that, from that point, it's all right, now you get the chance to go play at a place like Newport. It's one of the best stadiums in 3A football. And we know, hey, if you can go play with them, you can go play with anybody. And same thing with Salem. Salem's, I've told a lot of people that 3A2 is one of the most underrated conferences, I think, in the state. And it has been since we moved up to 3A in 2022. We've had a state champion, multiple semifinalists between Salem and Melbourne, and Mayflower's been really good the last 2 years. Atkins has been good. Newport's always good. So if you can go on the road and do that, then you can go do anything with the playoffs. So it'll be tough for sure going on the road to those places, especially Salem's. It's a long trip, keeping kids locked in. But luckily we don't play them week 10 this year. We played them week 10 last 2 years, so it's a short week and then a long trip. So we get them a week earlier at least. So we'll get them on a Friday night and have a normal week there. So I think that maybe helps, but hopefully we build a little confidence before that point. So,
what could people expect from you guys? What kind of offense are you going to run this year?
Yeah, we're spread. We're similar to how we have been. Like I said, I've been here for a long time, and we haven't really changed the offensive system. It tweaks a little bit year to year, just like anybody does. So we're spread. We'll be up tempo. I think you'll see us mix the tempo a little bit more this year than we have in the past, depending on the situation and the opponent. And we'll try to get in and out some personnel. We base out of 11 personnel. We'll use one tight end. We're going to try to mix it up a little bit, keep people guessing with what the personnel groupings are. But ultimately, we want to play fast. We want to run the football physically, and then we want to take our shots and be explosive when we can. So.
Sticking on the offense for just a second, you've got a couple of young men who can play quarterback very well. Talk about the guys who are going to be taking the snaps for you this year, or the guy, and how important their play is going to be this season.
Yeah, so Jack Sexton is going to be our starting quarterback. He's a senior. Jack played here in junior high. His dad was our defensive coordinator when he was in 7th and 8th grade. And he played here, and he was a little bitty dude who got thrown into playing quarterback on the junior high team before he was ready. And then his stepdad got to go be the head coach at Barton. So he's been at Barton since 9th grade. And he's put up some really, really impressive numbers. Last year as a junior, he threw for just shy of 2,800 yards there in an 11-game season. So really impressive. He's 6'5". He's got a huge arm, but also mobile. He runs 4.7 40, so he can move around a little bit too. So his stepdad decided to resign at Barton, and they wanted to bring him back to finish here. He's still got a lot of friends. He's still close to a lot of people on the team, so they came back in the spring after he resigned, and we're really excited about him. He's got a couple small offers. I think that he might get a little bit more attention once we get into this season. Hopefully put together a little film his first 3 games, and I think he's going to have a chance to be one that gets some offers that maybe he doesn't have yet. But he's a good one. We're excited about him.
Defensively, I know you mentioned the need to tackle a little bit better, but what can people expect from you guys on that area of the field this year?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it starts – we've got a couple key guys. I think I put in the Hootens book that our front 7 is kind of what I think is our strength, which is always a good thing. That makes you feel really good. We've got a couple of defensive ends who are 3-year starters, and Caden Harnick and Braden Riley, who have played a lot of football. Caden Harnick's got a lot of bigger offers, some Division I offers. He's the best player on our team, and he's played inside on defense. He's going to slide out to anchor and try to take care of the side for us. And then Malachi Goodrow is going to play one of the linebacker spots. He's a 3-year starter, and Dylan McThorne is a junior. He's a 2-year starter, will be a 3-year starter. So we feel really good about that core right there, and then we'll rotate a bunch on the interior. Jacob Green's a guy who's played for 3 years at right tackle, and he's played a lot of defense on the interior. Caleb Ellington, same thing. So feel pretty good about that group in the middle, and I think it starts there. If we can go be physical there and slow down some run, then you automatically are probably a better tackling team. So we'll do that. We'll try to get after some people with the front 7 and play good coverage behind. We've got a lot of guys that will rotate at DB that we feel really good about. Hopefully be able to keep some guys fresh and rotate there. So hopefully it'll be a really physical, really aggressive defense.
So our interview right now, Coach, is airing on our Thursday podcast. So tomorrow night is season opener at Perryville. What do you know about them, and what can we expect to see tomorrow?
Yeah, well, they're a good program. Perryville is always a consistent program. And I've said this to a lot of people. They were down last year a little bit. They only won a couple games last year, which you would think as a coach playing with them this year would make you feel good. But I've told a lot of people, like, Perryville is not one of those programs that's down for very long. So it almost worries you a little bit. Like, they were down a little bit last year. They probably got a good group coming. And Coach Hamilton's taking over there. Coach Justin Hamilton got that job really late in the offseason. So they'll look different than they have in the past. They were in our conference, our first cycle in 3A, and they'll look a little different than they were. They're kind of based out of the gun tee on offense. They're going to try to be really physical and run right at you, which is something we've struggled with in the past, something we've tried to emphasize this offseason. So it'll be a good test there defensively, them coming right at us. And then we'll see. It's hard defensively. They scrimmaged against Pottsville is in the dead tee, which is not very similar to what we do offensively. But I know they'll be physical on defense. They always are. They have physical kids at Perryville. So I think Coach Hamilton's a good football coach, and we're excited. It's going to be a challenge, but I think it'll be a really competitive game.
Who might be some of the newcomers, new faces that you might that might have impacts this year for you guys?
Yeah, well, I talked about Jack already. He's probably the first one that comes to mind at quarterback. Obviously, he's a senior, but he is a new face to our high school program. We expect him to be a leader. His teammates voted him a captain already after he's just been here for a semester. So I think that's where it starts. Then there's several others. We've got another senior, Brooks Black, who's going to be a senior, who hasn't played football his entire career. He's been a basketball player, a really good one. And we kind of, this offseason, he was in my economics class, fortunately for me, and I spent the whole spring recruiting him, and he's decided to come out, and he's going to start at corner for us, and he's going to play in the slot on offense. So he's going to be a big one that's a senior but still a newcomer. Then a couple sophomores are going to play a lot. Jaden Owens is one that comes to mind. He's a slot receiver, safety guy, one of the fastest guys on our team. He had a ankle injury over the summer. He was really, really coming on in June, and then July he didn't get to play much because he had an ankle injury, but he's back. He played in the benefit game last week and looked really healthy and really fast. So excited about him. And then a couple guys up front, sophomores. Frank Hopkins is going to play a lot on the defensive line. He's really come on a lot since ninth grade. Excited about him. He's a physical kid. And then Aiden Sanchez is going to start at left guard for us. He's another sophomore who, when we came to spring, was not going to start there. And he won that spot as a sophomore. He's taken it, and he's done a really good job. Real technical, coachable kid. So a handful of sophomores there that'll play, and a couple seniors that are new guys too that we're excited about.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time today previewing this season. Before we let you go, we have been able to feature previews for all of our Lake area schools, but since you are the final coach that we're talking to today, we do something here every week on the podcast where we give away a gift certificate to Little Red Restaurant up in Fairfield Bay. And the way that we determine who wins it is we let our guests give us like a code word or a secret word that people need to leave in the comments to have a chance to win. So since you're the last coach we're talking to, if you want to give us just anything that won't get us canceled for people to put in the comments to have a chance to win, I'm going to let you do that right now. So.
Okay, sweet. Is it allowed to be equipment related? Does it need to be neutral?
It can be whatever you want it to be.
All right, let's do Q-Town. How about that?
All right. So you heard it from Coach Corley. He's our final coach we're talking to today. So he says Q-Town. Leave Q-Town in the comments for a chance to win $25 to Little Red up in Fairfield Bay. Coach Corley, good luck tomorrow night at Perryville, and good luck this season. And we may be talking to you in the months to come. We appreciate you again.
Sounds good. Appreciate y'all.
I'll tell you what, that may be a good chance for that program to be good. The quarterback move back from Barton, and when you look at that kid's stats from his time at Barton, he's got a chance to really, really help this equipment team out in a year with, like we alluded to with Coach Corley, a very tough conference slate ahead of them, especially with some of those road games.
He does. They've got a chance to really jump off to a fast start. After that game at Perryville, they've got Bigelow, Conway Christian, and Melbourne to open up conference play at home. So, you can, if you can sneak a win out on the road against anybody and start strong at home, you've got a chance for a very special season.
So looking forward to seeing what Quitman can do this year. We wish all of the Lake area teams good luck, and we've been excited to cover them today and hear from all of the coaches. And we hope throughout the season, we just told Coach Corley, we plan to have hopefully some of these coaches, some of the players on throughout the coming weeks here on Lake Area Takes to talk to them a little bit about how the season's going. And so, again, good luck to not only Quitman, but Rosebud, Southside, and Guy as well. First games, as we said, are tomorrow. Some week 0 high school games, 2 of them here in Lake Area World. Southside is on the road at Woodlawn tomorrow night, and Quitman, as we just heard, on the road at Perryville. I'll be down at Woodlawn for that one, and you can catch Jonathan Peters over at Perryville for that game. So tune into Lake Area Sports tomorrow. High school football is officially underway tomorrow night here on Lake Area Sports. John alluded to at the top of the show, too, we've got high school sports, as you said, of all kinds officially underway. And, we alluded last week to golf season being underway, but, man, it has just been brutally hot outside, and a lot of matches, especially last week, were canceled, postponed. And, hats off, though, to me personally, hats off to the coaches for, not throwing these kids out there to walk them, 10 miles in 115-degree heat. So,
yeah, there's no need to have to do that when you don't have to. So it's nice to see people do things the right way there.
So we'll go ahead and we'll just kind of run through some results we've seen from this past week. First off, very cool thing, Lake Area has been proud now. This is 2 years in a row that Lake Area Sports has gotten to host its own golf tournament this year out at Indian Hills. And it was, ironically enough, heat had been the problem. And then tournament day rolls around on Monday, and all of a sudden now rain is a problem, which it's almost, you can't say rain is a problem as bad as it was needed. But no. These guys were, Lake Area Golf Tournament was Monday this past week, and 18 holes ended up being 9 due to rain, but they got to play. And, for those who were out there, they were making it very well known that because of the rain in the morning, it made the day bearable and not excruciatingly hot. So we're very happy about that. So the results from the second annual Lake Area Sports Golf Tournament. Here's your individual results and your individual winners. On the girls' side, Laney Gentry for Westside, multi-time state champion, took home her first win of the season, shot 4 over, 7 strokes ahead of second and third place. So congrats to Laney Gentry. It was Maddie Dublin of Quitman and Finley Martin of Rosebud coming in second and third. Looked like Dublin might have carted off Martin for second place. And on the boys' side, first and second to Quitman, 2 over for Corey Boyd. Nice round. Levi Willis at 4 over and Braxton Whitener of Concord at 3 over. Those are the individual results. And so for the team results, hats off to Quitman. They swept it, boys' side and girls' side. So the second annual Lake Area Sports Golf Tournament is in the books out at Indian Hills. And again, congrats to Quitman, as well as to all those who medaled individually. Some other results, just running through real quick. Late last week, Southside B Branch boys took home their first match win of the season. So congratulations. And I'll tell you what, for a small school golf team, that's a 9 boys. That's a large group of golfers to have, especially in this area. So congrats to Southside for picking up win number 1. And then earlier this week, Monday was Lake Area Sports Tournament, and then a couple schools turned right back around Tuesday, went back to Indian Hills. Concord was one. Their boys came out on top. Tuesday, Indian Hills match winners. And then Lily Sutherland, hats off to Lily for being the girls medalist there for Concord. She is a multi-time girls golf state champion out of Westside. So good to see her continuing her success over there at Concord. Same day, same match. The Rosebud Ramblers were the winners on the girls' side. So congratulations to the Rosebud girls for winning the match at Indian Hills, and Connor Marlin of Rosebud was the overall medalist for the boys. While those guys were playing at Indian Hills on Tuesday, Pangburn was all the way down in Cabot, playing at Rolling Hills Country Club, and their girls match winners on Tuesday, and then Tuesday at Mountain Ranch. Westside took part in an 18-hole match out there, and Laney Gentry once again coming out medalist. 18-hole round, shot 82 and almost 20 strokes ahead of second place. So Laney Gentry off to another hot start in her senior year for Westside. So congratulations to all these guys for these golf matches these past few weeks, these past several days. Some volleyball results. Volleyball got underway, and a couple Lake Area teams starting a little bit slow this year. Quitman with losses at Conway Christian, and then traveled all the way down to Taylor. That's a trip for a volleyball match, I'm telling you. 2-3 loss to Conway Christian, 1-3 down at Taylor. Rosebud, unfortunately, starting on the wrong side of the coin as well. 0-3 loss at Bald Knob, and then home game opener loss to Perryville 3-1. And then Guy Perkins taking on Quitman a few days ago. And then 0-3 set loss to the Yellow Jackets. So we plan to continue to, week by week, we'll kind of update you on the results as we see them, as we get them. Be sure you post them on Facebook, tag Lake Area Sports, and we'll be happy to make sure that we recognize these high school athletes and all of their fall sports accomplishments. So we've been excited. Again, high school sports is officially underway here in our Lake Area world. We're going to take a break, and of course, John and I have to talk college football because we can, how many days away are we now?
0.
You can count on one hand. You don't even have to count 0. Especially if you're an FCS fan. It starts tonight, FBS, 2 more days. And we're going to make some picks for week 0 after our commercial break. So stick around. We got week 0 picks coming up right here on Lake Area Takes. Don't go anywhere.
Are you a sports card collector? Then make your next stop Stan's Sports Cards in Greenbrier. Whether you're chasing vintage legends or today's hottest rookies, Stan's Sports Cards has something for every sports fan. Browse an incredible selection of sports cards, jerseys, memorabilia, and collectibles from your favorite teams and players. Looking to sell? Stan's Sports Cards is actively buying vintage and modern sports cards. Turn those cards sitting in a box into cash today. Visit Stan's Sports Cards at 26 South Broadview, Highway 65, in Greenbrier, open Tuesdays through Fridays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Discover Little Red at Indian Hills, where good food, great views, and Arkansas hospitality come together in Fairfield Bay. Enjoy lunch or dinner with comfortable indoor seating, a relaxing outdoor patio, and barbecue available Thursday through Saturday. From golfers fresh off the course to locals and visitors alike, Little Red is the place to gather, eat well, and unwind. Little Red at Indian Hills. Good food, great views, and a Fairfield Bay favorite.
Looking for farm fresh beef for your family? Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company has you covered. Choose from a whole, half, or a quarter beef, or purchase individual packaged cuts. Our cattle are locally raised, and your beef is processed at a trusted local facility for quality you can taste. Best of all, your order is picked up and hand-delivered locally right to your door by Eddie Whitehurst. Call Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company today and put farm-raised beef on your family's table.
Ready for your next beach getaway? Discover the perfect vacation with Willock Condo Rentals. Enjoy beautiful beachfront condos in Navarre Beach and Panama City Beach, Florida. When you book directly with the owner, you'll pay no service fees, saving more money for fun in the sun. For over 15 years, Willock Condo Rentals has helped families create unforgettable beach memories with comfortable accommodations and breathtaking Gulf views. Start planning your next vacation today. Contact Willock Condo Rentals and experience the beach the way it was meant to be. Hungry? We've got you covered. Welcome to Bentley's Restaurant, Greer's Ferry's largest restaurant. Join us for breakfast and lunch every Tuesday and Wednesday, then come back Thursday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From homemade omelets and our Saturday breakfast buffet to fresh salads, daily lunch specials, and hand-cut ribeyes cut as big as you want them, there's something for everyone. Friday and Saturday nights are legendary with our seafood buffet featuring jumbo peel and eat shrimp, catfish, crawfish, and all your favorites. Plus, don't miss our delicious prime rib on Saturday nights and our crab leg dinner every Friday and Saturday. Whether you're joining us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you'll always find great food, generous portions, and friendly service. Bentley's Restaurant in Greer's Ferry. Come hungry, bring your friends, and make every meal one to remember.
Back here on Lake Area Takes, and we are college football ready. If you have been watching any of the podcasts in the last few weeks, you can tell we have went through all of our resources to talk about anything and everything football. I don't know what we're down to at this point if we had to talk about something else other than the games.
Mothers, maiden names, I don't know. We could come up with something.
And speaking of names, we did not have this on the bingo card for the episode until just a little bit ago, but that's just something cool. People post these every once in a while. FanDuel posted this earlier. This is the all-name team this year for college football. So some of these names, we'll just start down the offensive side. You got a Sunbelt boy over there, playing quarterback, Goose Crowder, God's Power. I'm not even going to try to say the last name.
Coincidentally, let me say one thing about Goose Crowder. At one point, had signed to play at A-State.
Really? Okay.
And he was a transfer from West Virginia, but signed, committed, who knows anymore, whatever.
Wasn't paid enough.
Could have. I don't even remember. It's because it's been a couple of years ago. I think he was injured part of last year. So anyhow, he was signed to play at A-State. Went to Troy instead. I think he had some kind of connection down there. So anyhow, that's a connection.
It's Goose Crowder. A-State will see them final week of the year. God's Power. Hollywood Smothers. Gotta love that name. Chevy Shakespeare. Chevy Shakespeare. That's a mouthful to try to say that. The Realist Clark. Amazon Little John. Rocky Beers. Was there Oklahoma had a softball player last name Beers. Am I crazy? There was an SEC school I think it was Oklahoma. Tree, Babalade, Big Al Oliver, Billy Jack McCool, King Large.
That is a name.
That's a King Large. Haynes Hammer.
He is an offensive lineman as well. It would be kind of funny if he's a defensive back.
A little defensive back, yeah. Haynes Hammer, Beckham Sunderland over on the defensive side. Let's see, we got Tycool Hill. That's one word, one name. Tycool Hill. Legend Journey, Angel Tombs, Bol, which I thought was a basketball player, but Gideon ESP. Okay. You go far enough with ESPN in your middle name, are you just that big of a sports fan, or are you just crazy? And do you pronounce it ESPN, or what do you call it? Espen. Gideon Espen. Prayer Young Black Goat. Sounds like a Viking name. Pig Cage. Feel bad for that young man. Fat Forest and Pig Cage. I'll tell you, that's just who you want in your defense back. D.I.C. Hopkins. Mobility. Prairie View A&M. Mobility. They can always say they have mobility on defense. Sirius Stinyard, Badger, Hargett, Jack Carson Wentz.
There's some cool names that did not even make the list. I'm looking here at another list. God's Power, and I'm going to butcher this last name. Nawahui.
Yeah, he's running back on this one.
Okay, I was about to say, there's a few that I didn't see on that list. Dalton Toothman,
okay.
Offensive tackle at Mississippi State. Blazing Longo Wong, a defensive lineman at Arizona State. And not to leave the state there, Rhino Tapa Atuitua. Just whatever. Tapa Atute. Yeah, so whatever that. So there's some very interesting names in college football, and I'm glad that I don't have to say some of them very fast trying to announce the sport.
Chevy Shakespeare would be very hard to say over and over again. I cannot get past.
There's a Sir Bible at San Jose State.
Sir Bible. Okay. I can't. I mean, on defense, having Fat Forest and Pig Cage back to back, I just,
Yeah.
What can you do? So.
There's some. What's some of your coolest names that you remember? The people who you've been fans of.
Gosh, there's been so many. In Arkansas had one. Bumper Pool for these past several years.
Yeah.
How many people are named Bumper? And so that one was very unique. And man, there's been so many. Every year that people make one of these lists, and you just through the years, the ridiculousness just all jumbles together. But
one of my favorites.
Do you have a particular?
Money Hunter.
Money Hunter.
His father, the baseball player Torrey Hunter of Pine Bluff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he was raised in the Houston area, but he played football at A-State. So Money. And his last name, his real first name, I could not pronounce, but he always just went by Money Hunter. So
Money Hunter. There you go. So find you a unique name in the college football world, and in this day and age, names just get weirder and weirder anyway. So
yeah, my favorite when I was in college, we had a linebacker a long time ago named Sagu Najik Beta. He was from Atlanta.
That's a mouthful. So.
Yeah.
Good luck to all the weird names out there in the college football world. So we're gonna make some picks. We're gonna do picks every week here on Lake Area Takes, and so it's week 0. You got your specific handful. If you are a true football fan, then you do not care who's playing this weekend. You're gonna find a game to watch from.
You started a game before this podcast. I think they start at 5 o'clock.
I believe so. Playing football right now as this is live. So, again, keep us on. Put the game on another area of technology if you can. So we're going to go through some of these. And, again, crazy part is this game is technically underway as John and I speak. However, if you haven't figured it out from how we do things here, we're filming a little bit prior to actually being live right now. So this game in our world, as John and I said here, is not underway yet. UCA gets things underway tonight at UT Martin. And again, we talked last week, UCA coming off of a unfortunate record-breaking, disappointing season. Worst season since John and I have both been walking this earth last year at 3-9. Big chance to get out to a hot start with a win on the road. UCA, UT Martin. John, who you got?
Give me the Skyhawks. They've kind of been the better program over the last few years. They've had some playoff teams as well. So they're at home. They're opening the season, and UCA struggled mightily last year. Give me UT Martin.
I like to say I like the optimism. I like UCA to get things turned around and go win on the road. But unfortunately, like you said, I think UT Martin's had a lot of success recently, and I don't think that this will be where UCA can get their first win this year. So I'm going Skyhawks as well to beat UCA tonight. Again, this game's on ESPN Plus, so check it out. Some in-state Arkansas football action tonight. And then we go to Saturday, and FBS football is here. The Bill Belichick era enters season 2, and it starts over in Ireland. And they get TCU. The game is Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, and the first Saturday all the way through December where you can sit down at 11 and get your day going. Can the Bill Belichick era get off to a better start week 1, year 2?
Yeah, no. The luck of the Irish did not travel with the Tar Heels. It'll be, with all the issues that North Carolina has had, with Steve Belichick, who's the defensive coordinator, being out some, all the issues with the general manager, all the crazy things going on with that roster. You got a new quarterback. You're playing overseas. I guess the most stable coach on the staff right now is Bobby Petrino, and that's saying a lot, insert your joke here. But TCU, they have a coach who knows how to coach college football. It's in his blood. Sonny Dykes has been around the game a long time. His father was the coach for a long time out in Lubbock, so he knows how to run things as far as college goes. You don't have the drama. So give me TCU, and I don't think it's going to be terribly close.
I think that, TCU, Kendall Briles used to be the OC at Arkansas, and he's been out at TCU for the last several years, and I think he's a good coach, good young coach. He's gone. He's now in South Carolina. And so TCU, North Carolina, not the only school with the new play caller this year. Sonny Dykes is a good coach. I do agree. Bill Belichick.
He does have an offensive background.
He does. Bill Belichick is also pretty good coach. It's very weird to see him. He's a good. I'm just saying. I'm saying in general. Hang on. In general, not.
He's a Hall of Fame coach.
He's a Hall of Fame coach.
Maybe not a Hall of Fame college.
Maybe
coach.
not a Hall of Fame college coach. Let me specify. Thank you for catching me there. However, you alluded Bobby's in North Carolina now. You got to win a game by outscoring your opponent. I'm afraid in this one. And call me crazy, but let's just go ahead and say the luck of the Irish did travel from Chapel Hill to Ireland. I'm going upset of the weekend, North Carolina over TCU. 2 o'clock, San Jose State at USC. USC looking for first college football playoff appearance. Can they get out to a 1-0 start?
Yes. As much as I want to pick old option Kenny, even though he doesn't run the option anymore, Ken Niumatalolo is the head coach of San Jose State. As much as I like him, I cannot pick his team. USC will run away in this game by at least 20 points as they look to try to right the ship there in the Big Ten, as goofy as that still sounds.
Nothing to argue there. It's they're heavy favorites, and they've got the better team. I don't think San Jose State's going to give them much of a problem in week 1. And just a nice tune-up game for USC before their schedule really gets to cranking. Here's a good one. NC State at Virginia, some ACC conference action to start. Both teams kind of middle of the pack in the past few years in the ACC, and it's I believe a 1-touchdown margin right now on the odds for Virginia. Who you got winning this one?
Virginia. They're at home opening the season. They're coming off what for them has been a strong campaign. They, if they did not goof at the end of the last season, should have played in the ACC championship game. They should have won it, right? They played Duke.
Yep. Could have won it.
My mind. So, yeah, they should have won that game. Goofy things happen sometimes. Duke should not even have been in that conversation. So, give me Virginia. They're going to win at home and continue the strong run.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. NC State's not a bad team, but Virginia's been very, very good these last few years, and I think you play your first game at home. Unless NC State has just found a gem, a diamond in the rough, I don't see them having enough to win this one. I'm taking the Cavs at home. Saturday at 2:30. North Dakota State is finally in the FBS. They have been FBS caliber for a long time, and they've been ruling and reigning over the FCS. So here is their first official FBS game on week 0 at 4:30, and they host Jackson State. Does NDSU win their first FBS game?
They do.
First game as an FBS team. Let me rephrase that.
Yes, they do, but I think this one is going to be awful close. Jacksonville State is a good program. They've made bowls. I cannot think of their coach at this moment, but former defensive coordinator at Florida State, at Georgia Tech. He's done a really great job in transition from Rich Rod. And Jacksonville State is just a really solid program. And North Dakota State's going to have their hands full, but they are going to be pumped at home for their first game as an FBS program. So give me the Bisons.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm excited to see these guys finally an FBS team. If you've never watched a North Dakota State game, flip. There'll be other games on at this point in the day, but flip over and watch a little bit of it. I'm with you, boy. It's going to be rocking. All 5,000 people that live in North Dakota are going to be there, so be sure you tune in and catch a little bit of that one. Another new FBS team this year, Sacramento State, the pride of the Mid-America Conference. We're
kicking it off with a conference game.
Make
a short trip to
Eastern Michigan.
Ypsilanti.
Yeah, I believe so. I hate to be this guy, but Eastern Michigan needs to put a little more effort into their logo. That's the plainest font of an E, just on a green background. At least Sac State made the S look kind of cool.
Yeah,
but it's just
like
it's bland E on a green background.
It's like Mike Leach designed the logo. He had that sweatshirt just said State, so they borrowed that E maybe.
That's true. Sac State and Eastern Michigan. Who wins this one?
Eastern Michigan. I think there's too many questions around Sacramento State having to travel all the way to Ypsilanti. However you pronounce that. And Eastern Michigan, I don't think they had as good a year last year as they would have liked, but they've been a pretty solid program under, and I can't remember that coach's name, who was at Drake prior to going to EMU. So give me the Fighting Buckeyes.
I not to. Boy, I shouldn't even say this. I don't know how close to Eastern Michigan is to Lake America, but we'll go ahead and give Eastern Michigan. I'm with you. I don't know. I don't think we know enough about Sac State to know how this one's going to go. So give me the point.
When you transition, there's just so many questions.
There it is.
And they've been so up in the air.
They're not a North Dakota State. I don't feel like that's a transition that's going to be hard.
No.
These guys, on the other hand, I'm not real sure about it. It is a conference game, but I don't think on the road in week 0 is the place they're going to do it. So give me the plain Jane E on the green background. This one last year was fun. I don't know how many people remember this game last year in Hawaii. Walk-off win for the Rainbow Warriors down floating in the ocean. Now they're playing it up in Stanford Saturday at 6 o'clock, and Hawaii was your team to watch in the group of 6, whatever they're called these days.
Yeah, surprise pick or whatever.
Surprise pick team to watch who could make some noise. Are they going to go to Stanford, though, and get a win Saturday?
Previous point is popped in my head. Charles Kelly is the coach of Jacksonville State. Now on to this game.
There you go.
Hawaii is the winner. They have the offense. They've got the great returning quarterback. They were able to keep him, Tommy Chin, Heisman contender back when he played. They took Hawaii to the Sugar Bowl as a player. Mm-hmm. So expect that to continue. Stanford, they are a new staff at home. Hawaii brings the firepower, and they fly back happy to the islands with a win.
Big letdown for me. I think Stanford can get their win back from last year. New coach, a little bit of a revenge game. Want to get their year started off on a good note. So I am taking the tall trees. I'll take Stanford in this one. Probably the coach with the hottest seat in the country is Mike Norvell down in Tallahassee. Team started 3-0 last year and then proceeded to lose 7 of their final 9 games. And this is just a year removed from when they probably should have been in the playoff as an undefeated team. They host New Mexico State Saturday at 6 o'clock. Do they at least get started on week 0 with a win?
Florida State will get started with a win. The hot seat will not get any hotter. No Jerry Kill at New Mexico State means no chance, so it'll be all Seminoles.
Your seat is already hot, doesn't get any hotter. What does the margin of victory, though, for Florida State have to be for that seat to heat up a little bit? Obviously, a loss heats it up to
a loss.
Boiling.
I think that it's
you're boiling if you lose.
They're starting to look for pennies in the couch if they
What is a small enough margin of victory that even if you win, but it's only by this amount, that you're kind of like, oh crap, here we go again?
Gosh, if you're Florida State, you want to blow them out of the water. I think that will probably be the case, just because Mexico State has really fallen off the map since Jerry Kill, took his margaritas and senoritas and went to Nashville. But that's a great press conference. If you haven't seen it, go Google it. I don't know that.
3 touchdowns? Is that too close?
I think anything inside 2 touchdowns, and people are storming the streets there. But you need to win by 4 touchdowns in this game. I don't know that it will get people off your back, because you have been so bad since the year that you should have gone to the playoff. The UCA alums' seat will be hot in Tallahassee all season.
I agree, but you can't. I have no reason to pick New Mexico State to go win in Tallahassee. So pretty self-explanatory, kind of like USC. I'll take Florida State in this one. Mike Norvell lives to fight another day and gets to wait on that big SMU game coming up early in the year. Another Arkansas school is in action Saturday. UAPB has a Week 0 game in the FCS.
That game is actually, I just learned this, at Memorial Stadium.
Yeah,
So
this game is not in Pine Bluff, so if you're closer to Little Rock and you need something to do Saturday night, go watch Morehouse play UAPB at Little Rock in War Memorial Stadium. Who are you taking in this one?
UAPB, Morehouse just at a different level, and I think UAPB, despite its struggles, should come out of this one with an easy win.
Apparently, we're both taking them, so there you go. I agree. I think, I don't know anything about Morehouse. I'm not even going to try to pretend, so we're going to give the in-state team this one.
And then just following that up real quick, after a game against Morehouse in Week 0, UAPB will travel to Missouri for a Thursday game. So talking about
quick turnaround. And a much bigger caliber of a team.
Yes.
Low key, this is the game I'm most excited about this weekend. The North Carolina game, the Hawaii Stanford game will be good. I am excited to watch this game. You got Huff in his first game at Memphis. Dan Mullen's back at UNLV. This one's out in Vegas at Allegiant Stadium as Saturday night, only game on FBS this late. We all know how you feel about Memphis and the people of the town. Who you got winning this one out in Nevada?
The people of Memphis will be crying late Saturday night. Memphis has a lot of change, new everything, pretty much new coach, a lot of new players, ton of turnover. It's always hard to do that in your first game on the road against a team that returns a lot under a second-year coach like Dan Mullen. So I think UNLV is going to win this one by at least 2 touchdowns. Would not surprise me if it's a little bit more, because they've got some firepower in Vegas.
I was trying to see what the spread for this game was, and UNLV is only 4.5-point favorites.
Really?
So they've got this game being very close. I wouldn't be surprised if it is close. I think UNLV is the more talented team. I think they win the game. But I'm more following kind of that than the 2 touchdowns. I think this one's got a great chance to be the best game of the day Saturday.
I think Dan Mullen is going to want to drive the state into Memphis early and often.
And he may do that. But Week 0, those are our picks for our first Saturday of college football. Week 0 will get underway in just a couple days. And again, FCS action is happening right now as we are streaming live here on Thursday night.
Friday night as well, so you can have the Lake Erie game up on one screen and then an FCS game up on another screen.
You can do that. So we're excited college football is back. Animal takes this week. Last week, very fittingly for college football preview, you had a Red Wolf video, Red Wolf Sanctuary. Does our animal take this week have any ties to football?
No ties to football, but ties to the recent weather, because I know anybody who spent any time outside will have wanted to taken a dip like this polar bear.
Let's check it out.
It was from the Oregon Zoo. I remember it was from the zoo, but I can't remember which one.
Some humans are crazy enough to get in these ice baths and these ice pools and just sit, and they're absolutely insane. But yeah, I don't think though that quite to that level. But yes, people have, I believe, been very envious of that polar bear here lately. The other cool thing coming up here in Lake Area world, we kind of alluded to it. We've posted it on Facebook a few times, kind of right up your alley, because I know you are one of the card aficionados of the world, and Lake Area Sports has a card show, Greers Ferry Lake Card Show, coming up in October. So we're still several weeks away, but we do want to make sure that people know about it. So this is going to be up in Fairfield Bay, and this should be pretty exciting. This should be a lot of fun.
It should be. I was told earlier this week that there's already over 30 tables. So for a first day show or a first time show, that's really great to see. You can still get a table. All the information is on the Lake Area Facebook page. And fill out the form, send it in. And if you just want to come, see what people have, show up at 9 o'clock on Saturday, October 17th. Should be a lot of fun.
You see it down there, you collect, connect, or trade, and it's at the conference center up in Fairfield Bay, as John said, 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Sports cards, memorabilia, says Pokemon cards as well. So let's get them up there sometime on the 17th and see what's going on. So we're getting ready to wrap up here on episode 10 of Lake Area Sports. But before we go, I'm going to turn the floor over to John for a minute and let him say a couple things here to wrap up this week.
Well, I just really want to say thanks. Some of you people, if you've made it this far, have been listening to me for the past 7 sports seasons, and this will be the last one for the foreseeable future. I have taken a job that will take me away from being able to broadcast high school sports on Lake Area Sports and continue this podcast. So changes are coming, and I'll let the people who are doing that announce those changes if they will. But I just want to say thanks for all your support over the years. It's been a tremendous joy covering high school sports in this area, especially the last 5 years calling West Side games. I don't think if you look back at the things, I don't know what they call them now, senior wheels, whatever. The things you fill out, that 17, 18-year-old me, talked about broadcasting and doing Cardinals games like Jack Buck, but it's truly been an honor. Never would have dreamed that I would have been able to call West Side games for the past 5 years, so it's just been a lot of fun, and I appreciate Jonathan and Lake Erie Sports and the opportunity. So it's one of those things that has to happen sometimes, so I appreciate everyone's listening and watching over the years, and keep watching.
Well, you alluded to, I called to this point of the show as long as I could, because I thought, man, if we don't end the show, then he doesn't have to go. One of getting to call West Side games, and pretty much anybody who follows Lake Area, it's not exactly a big secret, that you and I both are, I guess people just say the West Side people, because that's you and I both graduated West Side. Now we like to cover just sports in general, all of our Lake Area teams, but you and I bleed green because this is where we're from, where we went to school. And in your 5 years getting to call for West Side, you and I got to do something pretty cool a couple years ago, because the Lady Eagles did win state title in 2025, and you were the man on the play-by-play that year. And we don't get to call state finals, obviously, but we got to go up to Truman and call that Final Four game against Rule Special, and so we couldn't let this be your final day without playing, at least one clip.
So if you don't want to listen, you don't have to.
You got to play at least one clip of a John Verser call, and to me, this was a pretty big one, because this was John Verser calling West Side to the state finals back in 2025.
Long three by Turner is off mark. One more shot is up, and West Side is heading to the state championship game. 30 years after winning the school's lone state championship in girls basketball, West Side is heading back to the title game after a 62-58 win over Rule Special.
was a crazy game.
That was completely wild.
Completely wild game. Real special. It was the fourth time that year that Westside Rules Special played, and man, the games got closer every time. But what a cool experience for us to do that, and we're not quite done yet. Got a couple things that I need to read you before we get you. This was not in your rundown of the episode. We made sure that you didn't get. We made sure you didn't get this copy because we wanted it to be a surprise. But since this is your farewell, we've got some messages from a few people that just wanted to say some words. This young lady is, for those who didn't watch a lot of Westside, this is Lily Stevens. She graduated last year from Westside. She was a member of that 2025 state championship team and the state finals team last year. So what I'm about to read you were words that was sent to us from all these people. Lily said, "I want to say thank you to John for calling most of my high school games with such professionalism, grace, and respect. I never once heard John make a hateful remark toward anyone on the court during a game he covered, and I deeply admire that about him. After every basketball game, I would go back and listen to what our amazing Lake Area sports people had to say about my team and me. I still have recordings of a few things John has said about me during my time on the court, and I am eternally grateful for those memories. I'm especially thankful that John, along with Austin Gray, cared so much about the people they traveled to watch. Both came and spoke to me in the tunnel after the state finals game this year in Hot Springs. They both had encouraging words for me that I will carry with me and remember for a long time. Thank you, John, for supporting me, believing in me, and treating every athlete with the respect they deserve. I am truly grateful that you were a part of my high school basketball journey. You will always be someone I look back on with great appreciation." So that's from Lily Stevens, and she was, we talked a lot about her this past year. Very much one of the most improved players in our conference.
Oh, absolutely, by far.
And so that word's come from Lily. And Zach Birmingham, he graduated back in 2023. And of course, the photo, we all know what happened that night that he held that rim up. So,
yeah, that was one of the craziest things that I can remember broadcasting, other than a long time ago losing the phone line at BMI doing a baseball game. But when you had to string at 3,000 feet. But yeah, having to change, that was the game against Shirley, and having to change gyms in the middle of a contest. And that was kind of wild. We made it.
And you and I talked a long time about how we needed to go back to the old gym.
I feel
one night a year. Yeah. One night a year, have a throwback game. And, Zach made that happen a little unintentionally. But, the crazy part about that night, a lot of people don't remember, our scoreboard quit. So we were having to use a manual scoreboard already. And then this happens, and it was just one of those nights where we all just wanted to look around and go,
what else?
What else could go wrong?
And this was at halftime of the girls' game.
And we still had a game and a half to go. And thanks to Zach, we got to go over to the old gym. But Zach said it's sad to hear John is leaving Lake Area Sports. When Lake Area first started, it was so cool because it allowed family that couldn't travel watch me play. It allowed family that could not travel to watch me play, but also made it easier for me to improve as a player to go back and see the film. And some of the commentary said by John during the games helped me improve as a player and learn the ins and outs of certain plays, or even where I could improve myself with being in the better spot or making myself more open by my positioning on the court, a lot of which John had himself said on air. While I never really got the chance to talk to him in person very much, I can't thank him enough for the countless miles and hours he put into film and broadcasting our games for Lake Area. I will miss hearing his voice commentating through the games for sure. Thank you for all that you did for Lake Area, John. So that came from Zach.
Wow, it's very nice of Lily and Zach to say those things. I appreciate everyone. Over the last 7 years now, it's been, doesn't seem like it's been 7 years and 5 doing the last 5 doing the West Side games, but it's just been a lot of fun, and I appreciate everyone's support, and thanks for listening.
Yeah. One of the nicest guys we've ever gotten to work with, Coach Cossey. And you got to, you kind of had a little bit with him because you called some Concord.
Yeah, called Concord games for a year before doing West Side.
So you did get to, call some of Coach Cossey's Concord girls games, and now he's over at West Side. Has been for this will be his 3rd year this year. His is pretty short and sweet, but that's how Coach Cossey is. Mr. John is fantastic at calling games. He's very knowledgeable of the sport of basketball, a true professional at his craft, and a great person as well. Mr. John will be greatly missed, and I appreciate all that he has done. Thank you, Mr. John, from Coach Cossey. So we love Coach Cossey. He's one of the kindest individuals you've ever met. You never got to meet him. How about this guy? So for those who don't remember Jeff Mannon, he worked at Lake Area Sports for a while. I believe he's still softball coach at Coach coaching softball Shirley, is he?
I think so. He coached basketball for a while.
Did a couple of years doing girls basketball, softball coaches, had some really good softball teams over there. But y'all traveled together a little bit and did some Lake area work early in the early years.
Covered some Rosebud football back, I guess, their first year. No, it wasn't their first year.
One of the earlier years.
I want to say 2020, 22. It was a long time ago.
Early on in the Lake area life.
Yeah, it's been a day or seven.
This was my favorite message that we got because it reads very Jeff Mann, and you'll probably be able to remember. Starts off just him saying, "John, your old pal Jeff Mann in here. I loved my days working at Lake Area Sports, and I worked with a lot of cool people, but man, we made a heck of a team. Always remember when we called 8-man football, man, we had some crazy calls because," he said, "well, that's 8-man. Calling the championship in downtown Little Rock was an experience I won't forget. I figured out after that game we both loved Waffle House, which puts you on a pedestal," he said, "in my opinion. Great times with a great person, always professional and great attitude and conversation. Lake Area Sports will miss you, no doubt, and best of luck in the future." And he ends it with Waffle House forever.
Amen.
So apparently I didn't realize y'all were the Waffle House guys, but.
Yes, I guess that was a long trip that we got to do that because most of the time you don't go to towns, we end up in Augusta. There's not a Waffle House.
That's very true. And our last two, they come from our two fearless leaders. Summer Peters, she said, "It's tough to express how much you've meant to Lake Area Sports and to all of us who've had pleasure of working with you from the start. You've been a key player in shaping Lake Area Sports into what it is today. Your hard work, dedication, knowledge, and willingness to lend a hand wherever you were needed helps transform an idea into something we're all proud to be a part of. Even though we're excited for you and what's next, we can't help but feel a little empty without you. We hope you'll come back to us from time to time for a guest appearance when you can. There is always a headset waiting for you. Thank you for everything you've given to Lake Area Sports, for believing in what we were building, and for helping make it successful. You will be dearly missed, and you will always be a part of the Lake Area Sports family and the story of how we got to where we are today." That was from Miss Summer, who does a lot for us. But yeah, she's very right. You've been here since the start. You're one of the
close to it.
We're very close to it. You're one of the originals, one of the OGs, as the kids say. So
yeah, I guess I've been the longest continuous, other than Jonathan. So
Jonathan, speaking of the boss man, we're gonna let him have the final word. He said it's the end of an era, but not a friendship. John has meant so much to Lake Area Sports. I can still remember the first day I interviewed John. He started telling me stories about Kentucky, Texas, and Arkansas State, and I remember thinking, we've got a good one, and oh boy, did we have a good one. I'm going to miss listening to John and Austin during the Westside Blowout talking about college football or just about anything else while my phone is blowing up because y'all aren't talking about the kids on the floor. And really, that's one of the reasons Lake Area Takes came to be. John and Austin needed a platform where they could talk college football, tell stories, share their opinions, and just talk sports without me getting messages telling them to get back to the game. And it turned into something pretty special. But John, you have been so much more than a voice behind the microphone. He was someone I could always rely on when I needed somebody to cover a game. Sometimes I was dealing with a problem at Lake Area Sports and just needed someone to talk to. John was one of those people I knew I could call. That means more to me than he probably realizes. John, you're going to be missed around Lake Area Sports, but you know the door is always open. You're more than welcome to come back anytime as a special guest, tell a few stories, talk a little college football, and probably get my phone to blowing up again. The Marshall area is getting a good one. Thank you, John, for everything you've done for Lake Area Sports. But even more than that, thank you for the friendship along the way. This may be the end of an era at Lake Area Sports, but it's definitely not the end of a friendship. We're going to miss you, John Boy. And that one's from Jonathan. So
well, I appreciate everybody for all the kind words. That was just awful nice and unexpected. But it was, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, get to go places. Go to Timbo at least once a year. It's just been. It's been quite a joy, and I've really enjoyed. The last two with you and one before that. It's just been a lot of fun. Seeing a lot of great things, going to a lot of cool places, and covering a lot of great people. That's what makes a difference.
And great work. Like I said, these guys all just wanted to, give you a proper, farewell. And then, like you said, and I wanted to just, for me, you wanted to say, I mean, we've done 3 seasons together, and again, it just, think we worked well together. I've heard a lot of people, we talked about on the phone, and it's not any way trying to toot our own horn, but I think that, we ended up gelling well together conversationally, and I think it meant more to us because we both went to West Side, and so I think that you and I calling the games together for the boys and the girls both for the 3 years we did, hopefully made tuning into West Side games enjoyable for everybody. And I've only ever done it for 3 years. You've been my only broadcast partner. We've both obviously filmed with other people plenty, but it's going to be different this year doing continuous West Side games over and over without you. And I appreciate you for helping me flow right into the Lake area system and for making it not even feel like a job and just making it easy. So I'm greatly appreciative of you, and we do again wish you the best of luck, and definitely go ahead and mark your calendar in early December or late November so we can get you back and look back on our college football stuff and see
where I was right.
We'll see how much you were right and how much when Illinois is in the Final Four, we'll have you back on so you can you can sing their praises. So
me and Pat Burt, we're a team.
There you go. So
not everybody got it.
But
again, thank you to everybody for listening. I appreciate everyone who chimed in with kind words. I was not expecting that, and but yeah, it's been a great pleasure and a great joy for the last 7 seasons, especially the last 5, getting to call games at West Side.
Yeah. We're very appreciative of you, and like I said, we are going to miss you. And we're going to still be here, though. It's not going to be the same. You're going to see a little bit different look than you see behind me right now. We may do something kind of make sure we keep the A-State kind of plugged in the corner or something. But Lake Area Takes will live on. And again, John's the big reason why we were able to get it going. I mean, Jonathan said it. We got to rambling so much during the season that one night Jonathan just texted us and said, y'all just need a podcast. And we were like, all right, give it to us. We'll do it. Let's go. Lake Area Sports will continue. Lake Area Takes will continue. West Side coverage will continue. Just stick around, see who's going to be jumping in with me. As always, if you aren't following us already, we're on Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube. Just search Lake Area Takes and Lake Area Sports and tune on in to the podcast. We'll be back next Thursday. Break down some of these first week's high school football games. And I don't know if we mentioned it. Jonathan kind of alluded to it in your message, but, we always ask some of our guests, tell everybody where they can find you these days. So just let everybody know where you're going and kind of what you're going to be doing from here.
I'm going to be with the newspaper up at Marshall, the Marshall Mountain Wave. And it's actually odd. This is the second newspaper called The Wave that I will have been employed by.
There you go.
The first one was on the Texas Gulf Coast, so that,
a little bit different wave.
A little bit different wave down there. So I'm going to be covering some news and sports and doing a lot of stuff with there. Without going into a ton of great detail, because they say sharing is caring, and I've never been good at sharing. Not information about myself, but just to explain why what is going on is going on. Back in the spring, my full-time job was eliminated, and so it's taken a little while to kind of filter in. And as people may or may not know, I've worked for some newspapers remotely down in Texas, and have been without that for 4 or 5, whatever that is. Anyhow, back in the spring, and so that's what necessitated this move. It was not anything that I wanted to, as far as leaving Lake Area Sports, but sometimes those things happen when you take on new challenges and adventures. So that's just one of those times right now.
Yeah, only reason I wanted to make sure we threw that out there was because when I was getting these messages in from these guys, it was actually Jeff. When I kind of told him, I said, "Hey, this is not public yet, but John's leaving Lake Area. I know y'all work together. Is there anything you want me to say?" His first question to me was, "Is John okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, John's fine. He's just taking on a new role." So I thought, there'll be somebody out there like Jeff who's going to go, "Yeah, what's happened? What's wrong with John?" But nothing's wrong with John.
Yeah, nothing's wrong. And I mean, most people probably don't know because again, I'm not a great sharer of news and personal information kind of thing. So I think that will probably catch a lot of people by surprise, but it's just one of those things that sometimes happens to everybody. And we move on, and unfortunately, not being able to continue with Lake Area Sports as I transition into this new role with the newspaper, which I'm excited to do once again.
All right. Well, for the last time together, I'm Austin Gray. This is John Verser, and I'll let you send us out of here for your final send-off.
As Jack Buck used to say, so long for just a while.
Are you a sports card collector? Are you a sports card collector? Then make your next stop Stan's Sports Cards in Greenbrier. Whether you're chasing vintage legends or today's hottest rookies, Stan's Sports Cards has something for every sports fan. Browse an incredible selection of sports cards, jerseys, memorabilia, and collectibles from your favorite teams and players. Looking to sell? Stan's Sports Cards is actively buying vintage and modern sports cards. Turn those cards sitting in a box into cash today. Visit Stan's Sports Cards at 26 South Broadview, Highway 65, in Greenbrier, open Tuesdays through Fridays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Discover Little Red at Indian Hills, where good food, great views, and Arkansas hospitality come together in Fairfield Bay. Enjoy lunch or dinner with comfortable indoor seating, a relaxing outdoor patio, and barbecue available Thursday through Saturday. From golfers fresh off the course to locals and visitors alike, Little Red is the place to gather, eat well, and unwind. Little Red at Indian Hills. Good food, great views, and a Fairfield Bay favorite.
Looking for farm fresh beef for your family? Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company has you covered. Choose from a whole, half, or a quarter beef, or purchase individual packaged cuts. Our cattle are locally raised, and your beef is processed at a trusted local facility for quality you can taste. Best of all, your order is picked up and hand-delivered locally right to your door by Eddie Whitehurst. Call Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company today and put farm-raised beef on your family's table.
Ready for your next beach getaway? Discover the perfect vacation with Willock Condo Rentals. Enjoy beautiful beachfront condos in Navarre Beach and Panama City Beach, Florida. When you book directly with the owner, you'll pay no service fees, saving more money for fun in the sun. For over 15 years, Willock Condo Rentals has helped families create unforgettable beach memories with comfortable accommodations and breathtaking Gulf views. Start planning your next vacation today. Contact Willock Condo Rentals and experience the beach the way it was meant to be. Hungry? We've got you covered. Welcome to Bentley's Restaurant, Greer's Ferry's largest restaurant. Join us for breakfast and lunch every Tuesday and Wednesday, then come back Thursday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From homemade omelets and our Saturday breakfast buffet to fresh salads, daily lunch specials, and hand-cut ribeyes cut as big as you want them, there's something for everyone. Friday and Saturday nights are legendary with our seafood buffet featuring jumbo peel and eat shrimp, catfish, crawfish, and all your favorites. Plus, don't miss our delicious prime rib on Saturday nights and our crab leg dinner every Friday and Saturday. Whether you're joining us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you'll always find great food, generous portions, and friendly service. Bentley's Restaurant in Greer's Ferry. Come hungry, bring your friends, and make every meal one to remember.
It's nice because I'm sure there's people that play it. You know.
Are you a sports card collector? Then make your next stop Stan's Sports Cards in Greenbrier. Whether you're